Our last kinds of things we're going to work with in chapter 3 is we're going to be working with composition of functions. So we're going to take those f and g of x functions and we're going to put them inside of each other. A lot of times they're written like this with this open circle f of g, f o g. And what that means is we're taking our f of x, and in place of the x, we're going to insert our g of x. We're putting g of x inside f of x. And so if we switch the order, it switches the order in which things happen. So this is going to be g of f of x for the second one. So whatever letter comes first is on the outside. We will be asked to stack them inside themselves. So that just means we're going to take our f of x, and inside we'll put f of x again. And we're just going to use the same function twice. Or we can do that with the g of x, where we have g of x, and inside we'll have another version of g of x. And we're going to look specifically at what those look like here on the next slide. So a lot of times what's going to happen is we're going to be given a function and asked to figure out f of g of x, g of f of x. We might be given all kinds of different combinations to try together. So if we start with our f of g of x, I'm going to use purple for f of x, and I'll use green for g of x, just so we can look at stuff. So when we're looking at our f of g of x, that means I'm going to have my f of x, and we are going to insert g of x in place of where f of x has an x. So we're going to take our 2x, but instead of x, we're going to put g of x here. Minus 1. So this whole function is here. We're just going to try and put g of x in place of the x. You do not have to write this step out. Hang on, let me fix that g because that looks very, very bizarrely y-ish. There we go. You do not have to do this step where we write g of x right here. We're going to go ahead and substitute the whole thing in. This is going to give us our 2 times our minus x squared minus 1. And we do want to simplify this. This will simplify down to be negative 2x squared minus 1. That will wind up being our new function for our f of g of x is minus 2x plus 1. So then let's do our next one. We're going to do our g of f of x. So this one's just flipping it the other way around. We're going to have our g of f of x. So we're going to take our f of x function and insert it right in here. So that means this is going to become the opposite of my f of x squared, which is going to become the opposite of my 2x minus 1 squared. And we are going to go ahead and multiply that out. We want to make sure we get this simplified as much as we can. So this is going to become the opposite of, and when I take my 2x minus 1 and square it, that's going to give me 4x squared minus 4x plus 1. So our final simplified answer is going to be our minus 4x squared plus 4x minus 1. So the next thing we're asked to do here is a little bit awkward, it feels like, because we're going to do our f of x. So we're going to put f of x inside of itself. I'm just going to grab myself a slightly different purple so that I can take my f of x and I can substitute in f of x inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my 2x, but instead of x, we're going to put f of x in here. Minus 1. So when we come down here, this is going to be 2 times 2x minus 1 minus 1. It's that same f of x, we're just putting it in place of this x as well. So that's going to give us our 4x minus 2 minus 1 when we distribute this 2 in. Oop, there we go. So simplifying that out, we're going to have 4x minus 3. So our f of x is going to be 4x minus 3. And we have one left to go like this. We're going to do our g of x. So then I'm going to grab my green back, and I'm going to get another green. So we can work with g of x both times. So we're going to take our g of x and substitute that in. Remember that our g of x is this minus x squared. So we're going to have the opposite of our g of x squared. Well, that's the same thing as having the opposite of negative x squared squared. When we come through to simplify, we know that if we square something, it doesn't matter what sign's inside here, so it's not really going to change anything. So we're going to have our opposite of x squared times x squared is going to give us x to the 4th. So this is our expression for our g of x. So that's using all 4 different ways we have to compose some functions.